Good morning, everybody. What'd I miss? So we have bad news, and what'd the market do with it? Hardly dropping. We got the first minute here. Let's review it. Let's get into it. Apologies for being a second late there. Let's drill into some of this really quickly so we can talk and see what we're actually dealing with here. And let's talk about this. So here we are. Let me kill this data. So I actually did think this would come in higher. I mentioned it with PPI yesterday that it would come in higher, but I'm a little surprised that that people thought it was going to come in lower. It definitely did not. But you're up a tick. You're up a tick year over year. You're in line. It is what it is. I would not be so worried about the other data. In other words, I would not be so worried about jobless claims. I don't really view this as the end of the world here, but it's definitely weaker data for the market. But let's see how we do. I don't see us falling apart here, guys. I really don't. Now that we have the data, and I'll screenshot this just so we can use it here in a moment if we want to go over it again. But I don't really view this as the end of the world at all. But we'll see. We'll see how the market plays out. We'll see how the market digests it. And I'll include jobless claims here as well. But what we'd want to watch is just watch how it acts and see how bad this actually gets. So far, to me, it doesn't look like it's going to be, that bad. Candidly, Nvidia's down a couple bucks. I don't even know if that's going to stay there or not. It doesn't really look like it so far. So I just want to just watch this, let it all settle down before you start acting and doing a bunch of stuff. I don't see anything so far breaking that 1 minute bar and getting anywhere near there. I don't see anything like that yet. Apple coming in, that makes a little more sense. You're more tied to the index, right? So that would make a little more sense. Google can't even go down. You start looking at some of these names that are and what's going on here. Let's flip back to the charts now and get into it and start going there and go from there. So, but we start looking at these names. I mean, you're not even able to drop. You're really not even able to go anywhere. So I wouldn't sweat this too much. It might actually be the best thing that happened because at least it keeps the market a little muted. I think you kind of have to look at what's going on here, guys. The market's not able to really pull back, is it? So if we're not able to pull back, then what is that telling us? It's a hot number. PPI was a hot number. Market's up. Now, I don't like that the ES is higher than the NQ, but it is what it is. And I would look at that for what it is. And just take a look at this. AKRO was when we traded yesterday. Just trying to see what makes sense here. But Microsoft, they want to smoke on this tax issue. I would have that all over my radar today. It's the silliest thing in the world. They won't pay that for a decade, if they'll ever pay it. They'll just keep going to court and going to court and going over and over and over again. I don't see anything breaking down here, guys, like nothing. So let's just watch that first minute, watch that first 5 minutes, really, at this point, is what I would do. Get a sense of lay of the land and just mark off where we are. And then let's just start seeing, are we going to break down? Are we not? And just kind of go from there. But I don't really see a lot happening here. The bond market did nothing. We hardly did anything. Okay, you have a little gap, but I don't even know that that's real. So, but you have a little gap here, and maybe you're going to start seeing some bond selling. Maybe VIX is hardly moving. You're back to flat. You're still down. I mean, the dollar is kind of rallying. So you're not seeing a tremendous amount of action here. So I wouldn't go crazy here, guys. I would just take a minute and watch this, but it's not something that I think you really have to go, I don't think you really got to do anything here. Just let it sort itself out. You're not seeing this huge volatile move. You're not seeing that at all. I'm trying to see if there's anything out there that's like really falling out of bed. I mean, maybe some of these names come down a little bit on the data. It does make sense that it'd be higher if PPI was higher, but I don't know that there's a huge need to do a lot here, or frankly, for me to sit here and tell you that we need to do a lot. You want to watch your range. and go from there. But I don't think this is going to be that ugly. I really don't. I think this is going to be a really muted move that infuriates a lot of people. A lot of people are expecting this to get smoked, and I don't think that's what's going to happen. Now, you have to look at where you are with some of these names, right? You have to understand that you are at lows of the day on some of these. And if you're at lows of the day, you don't really want to just go out there and just say, oh, I'm going to buy. They could flush us off the open like they did on Friday or yesterday. Right, yesterday they flushed SMCI right off the open. It gave us a great trade. So maybe that's the game. But now we're seeing the market. Now you're seeing bonds start to sell off, and you are seeing equities drop on that. See how the bond market just sold off there? I'd watch the level right here on the bond market today. I'd watch this on the 10-year. If you get over 462, you might have a problem. But other than that, I think this is a non-event, guys. I really do. I don't think there's much to do about it. Let me just go through my list real quick, see if there's anything worth really jumping into and mentioning. If I see anything like out of pocket. This is interesting. I know a bunch of people are looking at this. We should probably just go over it really quickly and address it. PWM. It's not really my kind of trade. I see the little move here. Usually there's a day or two behind this and go from there and go. But this TPST has a secondary. I mean, we shouldn't be shocked by that, guys. So I think you have to watch when this secondary prices and go from there. Personally, I don't know that this moves over. I think I'd watch that secondary and watch how that secondary goes and see what happens. Birkenstocks is an absolute disaster. I tried to get a huge short position off yesterday. I was unable to really allocate anything of size. So some of the solar names look really good. Some of the solar names look really, really good. But we're not really breaking down. I'm not going to sit here and bore everybody by saying the same thing over and over again. What we're going to do is drill into our levels and then go from there. Let me just see something. And go there. I'm live now. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. And go from there. Give me 1 second here, guys. Okay, good. All right. Just wanted to make sure someone was looking for the link that was in the room and to make sure they have it. So I don't want to waste a lot of everybody's time here. If I can't add value, I'll take questions. I don't see that I'm adding tremendous value here right now by saying the markets are flat. So let's not waste everyone's time. Let's get into the levels that I would watch today that I think are pertinent. You're going to want to watch the tip of this bar, obviously, this 1429. You know where you are on the 5-minute chart. You know what levels you're going to be looking at here. Let's drill down into that a little bit here and then go from there. And then you kind of see what's going on here, right? So we want to watch. For me, my big level is I'm going to watch right in here, this 44.34 level, and then kind of see how we act. That's my real area today that I want to see if we can get to and go from there. But I don't see a reason why I need to do much here or to panic. I just don't see it. So that's one area that I'm looking at and one area that I want to focus on. Let's get rid of, let's put that out. And where is that? Let's get rid of that. And other than that, I mean, does anybody see any other real level that we have to get through besides that? No, there's not really much there, guys. You just drop right here and you're right at that 4,400. Maybe you test 4,400. Do I think we're going to break 4,400? I have no idea. I don't think so. I mean, then we go to 43.80. Are we going to break that? Watch the 10-year here. Just watch that 462. You don't want the people that bought the 10-year yesterday blowing it out. That's the last thing we want. And I know a lot of trading desks this morning said that this number was going to be light, and they were wrong. So they're going to be on the wrong side of it. You're going to see people on the wrong side of this. Watch that. I think they're on the wrong side. I think you might see pressure here if it gets over this level. If you get over the auction price, you could have a problem today. But so far, it's not even relating, is it? It's not even relating to the market. They're not even dropping the market on it. So we're not even seeing that. I'm not seeing anything here that would make me think that I have to panic or do anything of consequence yet. I just don't see it, guys. I'm just going through them all. I'm looking at the big dogs, and we're all on key levels. We're doing very, very little. It's probably the most boring CPI number we've had all year. So let's just start getting into the questions, and then we'll drill down if we start to see movement. But other than that, we just don't see anything that's worth mentioning right now. SYNA, let's get into that. I mean, there's very little for me to add here. You don't want to break 15.2. You don't want to break 4,400. I mean, I'm not adding a tremendous amount by saying that. It's, kind of exhausting. Let's drill into this here and look. But would I do that? Yeah. I mean, that's a nice base, isn't it? The nice thing about that base is how your RSI is curling up the entire time. And then you drop right here and you can see your level right in here. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? You've only been out of this range since you popped into it, and you've never been out of that range. You just gap filled and stayed gap fill until now. Now look at where you are. There's something going on there. Let's take a look at the volume, see what we have. Yeah, it's not for me. I don't have any volume. It's very difficult for me to play something like that or be that interested in something like that if I don't have volume. What's the point? And let me get this. Let me go in the brand here for a minute and drop one of these links or banners. Let me just drop this banner in so people can see the numbers. And we'll go from there. PPI came out yesterday, and obviously that was hot, but I just don't. I don't really think that this is going to be the be all end all. The way that we're watching the market move, it's just not really doing what we need to be concerned about, candidly. So, give me 1 second here. I'm going to drop this in. And then as soon as I drop this in, then I can just edit it, and then people can see these numbers as they come in. But the year over year, I really don't think it was that bad. I really don't. So I think, I mean, where we at 3.6%? I don't really view that as the be all end all. And what were we looking for here? Let me just give me a second here, guys. We're looking for, yeah, I mean, I don't really view this as a big deal, guys. I gotta be honest. I really don't view this as a problem. Let me just go through this again. Give me 1 second here, guys. I just want to review this again. See if I'm missing anything. Just give me a second. So we came in at 3.6 and you came in at 4 versus that. Yeah, I don't really think that there's much here. Your CPI came in at 4% versus 0.3% month over month. And then year over year, you're at 3.7, right? And then that's, I don't know. I don't think that this is as bad as we think it is. I might actually drill into this a little bit and start going through the sectors in a second here and seeing what they have to say about this, because you're not really even dropping. You're really not. You're not dropping at all. I'm going to drop this in right down there so people can see the numbers as they come in. I would need volume here, guys, before I'd even consider getting involved. But I got to tell you, I don't really see, I just don't see it. I keep looking for, what am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anything. So we'll go from there. I really don't feel that way. Tom, I wouldn't do that trade just because of the volume. That's just me. Amgen, I try to get stopped out of. One of the areas that it makes just so frustrating, candidly, and you can see it yesterday on news. It looked to me like we were finally going to go, and then of course we go after I get stopped out on this undercut. But that's pretty substantial, and yeah, there's definitely something there that drove it, but that's really what I was looking for out of that trade, to be candid. I thought we were going to see some kind of pop, and just the way it was setting up. When they're a pretty big firm with Biotech, Learnick. So when they came out and did that upgrade yesterday, I mean, it definitely helps them. So you want to pay attention when they speak. I mean, more than anybody else. Like when you have these little biotech firms that are out in New York, like they're pretty big. There's like little specialty shops like that focus on this kind of stuff. And like when they speak, you want to listen. So that's really what you're saying there. There's a couple of them like that. And they do a great job. Now, something like that, yeah, I mean, I get that. I see the volume. And frankly, that whole sector is so beaten down. I mean, nobody wants these things. It's crazy just how beaten down they are. Look at VIIB. So is that getting a bid here? Maybe that's got that double bottom. Look at the undercut right there. I like Amgen. I do. I like the name a lot. I've been trading that name forever. That was like one of my first trades ever trading, like 20 years ago. It's just an absolute beast now. I mean, it's crazy when you look at where these things were and where they are now. It really is. But just absolutely staggering. And look at that, just a decade of just sideways action, everybody thinking it's dead. And then boom. That's the way it works. So anyway, yeah, absolutely. It's a monster. It's a monster stock, but you want to buy that up here? I think if you're looking short term, yeah. I mean, I think there's a trade there. I do. I think there's a trade there, guys. People are trying to find a biotech to get into. And every time I try to find one to get into, look at this. Look what's happening. Look at this. The rally. Look, bond market's already rejecting there. Isn't that crazy? And the market's actually rallying. So the market's not selling off when bonds are going higher, but it's rallying when bonds are coming in. Huh. Okay. Let's keep going. What else you got, John? ASPN. ASPN. I'm not a fan of this company. I don't know what the chart looks. Yeah, I mean, you're getting over a key level I have marked. So, I mean, there's something there. I don't know if it's something I would. Do I really want to deal with all this? Like, do I really want to battle all that? I mean, how much is going on there? How much nonsense do you have in there? Not a lot. Not a lot, do you? You're already over. Yeah, I mean, you could try that. That might work. You have a gap in here already. See the gap? So that gets you up to 10 before you even hit anything. I mean, you can see that right there. Right? Hopefully you can see that. Your little gap right in there. So, yeah, there's definitely something there. I don't know about the volume. How's your volume right now? Yeah. This I like. This I like. I think out of the three, this one makes the most sense. I do like the Amgen, candidly, but I mean, these types of trades are awesome. And then you flip, and it just looks like you're just going to keep running. After you had great earnings, and now you're running into next earnings because everybody knows what happened here, so they're all trying to get up and in before then. Yeah, there's something to that. There's definitely something to that move. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, out of the names you gave, John, I mean, I would be looking at this. That's really hard to not have an interest in, isn't it? And look at the weekly volume, and you're not even there yet. You've only had 3 days. What's going on, Steve? Let's do NEM. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty clear. DTL on the weekly. Let's go take a look at the daily. So watch your 50% line on the ES. I would wait till I flip that before I got involved. I don't really understand why this whole trade's not working. The whole buy gold, buy defense names, buy oil. I don't understand why it's not working. And people are saying it's working. Okay, it worked for a day. Lockheed's where it is. Crude's already dropping. You look at where crude was Monday versus where it is now. Crude's down on fears overseas. Like, really? You're not really getting that. Gold's still going, but I think you're better off just buying gold. That trade's working a lot better. Maybe the physicality. That's working a lot better. Oh, you're welcome to it. What's up, Steve? Yep, please hit the like button. Helps greatly. I appreciate it. It stops me from having to run ads. What's up, Douglas? What's up, Rocky? We try for 18. We try to be there for 18. All we can do is our best every single day. That's all we have. I mean, what am I going to do with this? I mean, would I buy this? No. Could it work? Sure. But it's not my kind of trade. You better know the insides and out of that company as far as, you know, what are we expecting? How's it going to move? There's a bunch of stuff there you have to pay attention to. It's definitely not something that I'd be getting involved with. Good. Cutting these early. They seem to be doing fairly well. Okay. I mean, they really don't like that this Groupon sold that small business for whatever reason. They really have a hard time accepting it, don't they? All right. I try. All I do is my best. I'll get there. JAGX. Even today, I thought for sure. And then something happened. And no. No, I have to, especially days like today. I mean, point noted, dude. What's up, Mayor? NVO, shouldn't we have moved more yesterday? Shouldn't we have shown more support there? Shouldn't we have had like more support in that area? I thought for sure we should see more than we saw on that move, and we just didn't have it. What you had was this. Let's get rid of the pre and the post for a minute. Like, you just didn't really have it, did you? That was somewhat bothersome. So was this at the end of the day. Why didn't we have more support? Sometimes I have impatience with these kinds of things, and I'm wrong because of my impatience. But I don't know. I think you have to hold off. Maybe these people still want out because they've been in so long. POWL. I don't know, John. I don't know that I put money in that. I think this is it. No, this is something. Like, that is impressive. This is the kind of stuff you want to see. Because look, here, let's walk through this. Let's walk through John's idea. And I don't need anything. Watch. See how it's getting tighter and tighter? And then what happens? It gets tighter and tighter, right? So it can't pull back anymore. And then you start, you start looking at the closes. Gravestone should have broke, kind of like a gravestone, not like that one. That's pretty clean. But you don't like these bars. And you get this wonky red bar. And then this says, no more. And now you have this kind of close. They're the ones you want to look at, those kinds of names. Now, I don't know why you're bidding up this morning. Perhaps there's news, and that's why you're bidding up. I don't know. I'd have to look into that, John, to say if this is the time to be involved in that. I certainly am not buying that nonsense, but I like this a lot. I don't know what your volume is. I don't need moving averages, RSI. I can already tell you where they are just by looking at that. I mean, you guys should be able to do that too. Yeah, and your RSI is not like crazy, man. I like that trade, John. I think that trade makes sense. I like that a lot. I think that's your second best idea that you presented. Yeah, they weren't awful. What's going on? Guano? Did I pronounce that correctly? What's up, Sampath? What's going on, John? What's going on, Bill? Bayless. I think that they're going to take us higher. You want my opinion on the day? I think they're going to take us higher. I think there's so much negativity and so much bad news, and we can't even drop. We can't even drop on bad news. Like, it's crazy to me how much bad news we just got, and the market just does not care. Look at this. I mean, seriously, even if just look at something like this from 8:30 on, all you had were net buyers. That's all you had. Now you're flagging going into the opening. I mean, it's just absolutely, I don't think people get what else is going to happen to this market besides two current wars going on, CPI data and PPI data incoming hotter. People don't care anymore. They're listening to what these people are saying. And the other thing is people are taking up their earnings on the year. And people are not paying attention to that. So I would. Where do I think it's in a year? I think it's higher. I think it's much higher than people think it is. I've had position here since here. I have different types of accounts. So I have a position from there. I've done literally nothing with. Trading, I've been batting it around. I think in the newsletter, this is always why I show timestamps. I think in the newsletter, we're in at 4:30 on the last batch or 4:35, something like that. I have to look at the spreadsheet. And I can tell you, where do I think it is in a year? I think it's considerably higher from here. I don't think people have any clue what's really going on. People think that Chat GPT is AI. No, that's like the little thing that they dangle in front of you to pay attention to. So that you get it. AI is corporations trying to find ways to be more efficient so they don't have to pay workers and they can get us to buy more crap. That's what AI is. It's really that simple. How can they increase efficiencies? How can they make the consumer spend more money? That's what it is. Go watch. You want to go see it, Mary? Or I'm sorry, Jen. If you want to go see it, Jen, there's a really good piece by Stanley Druckenmiller. Just go on YouTube and go Stanley Druckenmiller, Bloomberg, and go watch that whole interview. It's a half hour long. Listen to what he says about what AI is doing to help coders and developers and how it's increasing their speed. It's insane. Yeah, I got to be honest. I keep trying to catch it, and it's a slippery one. I look at that chart, and it just makes me laugh because I don't understand how I'm not able to get this short. I'm not able to get it off, but it's a slippery one. So I'm going to look at it again today, and we'll be very honest. I think that has major problems. Now, the easy spot to short is kind of over if I look at it from that perspective. So you have to look at that. But yeah, I think it's an outright short. There's something going on there. There's something really going on there. Nobody's interested in, even me, and I don't really look at these little expenses when they hit my credit cards that much, but then it hit the other day and I'm like, $22. Like, for what? What am I doing here? I don't even watch Netflix. So thanks, Ross. Appreciate it. Hey, Andrew. Yeah, if bond market continues to rally, I would be looking at those. I really think that the way to do this is not to pick the individual names right now. I think if you're going to try to bottom fish, this does look exhausted. So to me, that's one of the things I look at for exhaustion. I do think I'm exhausted here. I don't know if I'm ready for prime time yet. I'm getting there. I'm getting close to wanting to try to trade this. I don't know that I'm there yet. So I may be getting there. A couple things need to happen for me to actually put that on, but you're starting to see, to give it a try. And then you have to realize, like, you can't be thinking you're buying momentum. You have to understand that this could take a year to develop. I would just buy the whole sector. There's too many moving parts to the sector. They rotate. Who cuts rates? Who cuts their gross margins to get more market share? I mean, that's what they've been doing. So, just keep that in mind. But I would not be in a hurry there. I don't know that everything's been good news since January. It's not really taking a dump, is it? It can't even break 4,400. Let me go through this. Not rad, RPD. Okay. Can AKRO go down to 12? Yeah, I think it can. I do. I don't know who would buy it. I really don't know why anybody would go near this. I do think it can get to 12. 2 weeks ago, the chart said no way at the highs by the end of the year, but now I've been saying at the highs, guys. I've been saying that. I've been trying to get people. If you look, guys, I don't get rid of any videos, any of these live streams. You can all go back and listen to what I've been saying the entire time. You can go back and listen to any of it. I have literally hundreds of hours of recordings. Even like when I live stream in the room, I don't get rid of any of it. So you always go back. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but this was the argument I kept saying about, is this a head and shoulders? And everyone's just like, oh, it's clearly a head and shoulders. Well, okay, you just spent a month watching this thing develop, maybe 2 months watching it develop, and now it's going against you. And we don't know how this plays out. I'm very surprised I think you have to be very surprised at the resilience of the market. But I never really thought that we were going to fall off a cliff. I thought you had to take the possibility that you could fall off a cliff. But I never really thought we were going to fall off that cliff. And we certainly didn't. But I mean, there's your range. I mean, you should be able to see that right here. Here, I'll drop that in. You always clone these. They give you the best trajectory. So you can see your trajectory right here and how that is set up. And all we did, I mean, if you really got into it and said, well, let's just let's draw that out a little bit and draw this one out a little bit. What happened here? And I'm keeping them the same, but it's the same trajectory. So there's your channel. All you did was break under the channel, bounce around, get a lot of people to panic, and then you flip back in the channel. I mean, does that look like bad? So, I did this yesterday while I was screwing around in the community, and I was just trying to point this out. I'm going to have to jump here in a minute, guys. But I want to leave with this. Like, that's a pendant. Do what you want with it. It's a pendant. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Either way, I'm going to trade. What happens? I'd rather trade, analyze, and trade, and then analyze and then trade more than predict. If you want my prediction, I think we're at highs by the end of the year. I'll tell you what I definitely think is at highs by the end of the year. All these tech names, I think they're all going to be up by the end of the year. I think anyone that does not have these tech names, those top 7 marked in their accounts by the end of the year is going to have a real problem with their investors. And I think the last piece of that last piece of run into the end of the year is going to be NVIDIA's earnings in November. That's what I think personally. I'll give you that. Do what you want with that. DAL. What's up, Chris? I mean, no, I wouldn't. I would just play Jets. I mean, how nuanced do you want to get with these? I wouldn't go near this. CMND. Please don't make this a penny stock. Please don't make this a penny stock. Please don't make this a penny stock. It's not a penny stock. All right. What do you? Oh, it's a penny stock. Oh, you got me. It's exhausting. What's up, Rock? Yeah, but they stopped. I don't know why we're seeing such big moves in those names. Maybe stability of earnings. That's a really good question. I don't. I say it. I really don't have an answer for you. I was thinking about that. I really don't have an answer for you. I was looking at the insurance guys too. Like, look at this megaphone on Progressive. I was looking at this stuff, and I really don't have an answer for you. I could do a whole video on that. What's up, Carl? MT. I'm going to jump here in a minute, guys. I can't play that. I'll tell you the one I would play. I think X gets bought. I do. And I've been talking about this since 30. I have really no real position in this right now. Very, very tiny. It's not even doing anything that's worth mentioning. But there's an offer out there at 35. I think they're going to be able to work with the union. It's probably just going to grind. I mean, there's so many offers to buy that company. I would look at dips at getting involved there. I mean, you can see how we got right to the, that's not drawn perfectly. There it is. So, and then you got right there, retest, boom, flip. Even down here, test, here's your W, flips. You could use that as your stop. We didn't really do this. I should have done it as a special situation. I know people in the room did it, but I should have followed through up on that a little bit more. The market's taking news exceptionally well. It's exceptional how they're taking this move. There's no more rate hikes, dude. I'll tell you right now, you can timestamp this and cut it out. I agree with that. And I don't understand that either. PLTR, I will not blow it off. I get comments all the time. Why do you blow off when I talk about PLTR? I don't like that chart because there's too much volume for me, or too many shares outstanding, not volume. It's not my kind of chart. I see it up here. I see rejection after rejection as soon as it always gets up here. Insiders have a ton of stock to sell. What's up, Jay? Looks like a monster. Meta looks like an absolute monster. I missed that one. Walmart, I don't really have the time. Let's take a look. Walmart, let's do it. What's up, Cam? I wouldn't go near it. I mean, you could try. It's not really for me. I wouldn't be playing with these names. I just, maybe this works. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, I got to be honest. If I look at that, Cam, out of all these names, that one's working the best, right? You have a 3-bar pattern, right? And now you're setting up the break. Out of them all, that one looks the best. If it flips, you can give it a try because you got a really tight stop there, Cam. But the defense names are just not really lifting the way that I thought. I don't know why they're not. That whole trade should be working a lot better. So I'm just trying to go through this. Tons of questions. Jesus. I think Microsoft's not a big deal. I don't think we're going through World War III. I'm trying to get through these. SYM's just getting started. Agreed. I do agree with that. I don't know that CVNA is going to short squeeze. OPRA, Tupperware. I'm seeing if there's things in here that I can go through that make sense for everybody. There's no rate hike, dude. There's no rate hike. Yeah, I think we're in about 9 points ago. I wouldn't, you need some kind of pullback, but I would cycle through those names, the cybersecurity names. There's still a lot of moves in there. I got to jump, guys. Trade to win today.